Reality, as we commonly understand it, feels solid, stable, and objective. We assume that things exist whether or not we are there to witness them. The chair in the other room, the moon behind the clouds, the phone resting on the table. Surely, these objects persist independently of our awareness. But what if this assumption is wrong? What if the very act of looking, of paying attention, of observing, is what creates the world we know? This is the heart of the observer's paradox, the unsettling possibility that reality doesn't fully exist until consciousness interacts with it. The roots of this idea lie in quantum mechanics, a realm of physics that challenges our deepest intuitions. In the early 20th century, experiments like the famous double-slit test revealed a strange truth about subatomic particles. They behave like waves when unobserved, existing in many potential states at once, but when someone measures them, they collapse into a single outcome, a specific location, a single point of existence. Before the observation, the particle is a cloud of probabilities. Afterward, it becomes something definite. The observer doesn't merely see reality. The observer participates in making it real. This scientific insight inspired generations of thinkers, from physicists to philosophers, to reconsider what existence really means. If observation changes the outcome of an experiment, could the same principle apply at the human level? Do we, in some profound sense, shape our everyday world through our awareness? To understand this, we can look at how perception works. Our brains receive billions of bits of sensory data every second, yet we consciously process only a tiny fraction. The rest is filtered out, dismissed as irrelevant. This filtering process creates a personal, selective version of the world, a reality tuned to our expectations, beliefs, and emotional states. You do not see everything. You see what your mind allows you to see. When you look at a forest, your friend might notice the birds, another might see the play of light, and a biologist might see an ecosystem. The forest doesn't change, but the reality experienced by each observer does. Psychology reinforces this idea. Cognitive biases like confirmation bias, the tendency to notice information that supports what we already believe, show how perception bends to fit our internal narratives. The placebo effect goes even further, revealing how belief can produce measurable biological change. When patients think they're receiving medicine, their brains often trigger real healing responses. The body reacts not just to matter but to meaning. In this way, belief becomes biology, and perception becomes physiology. If we expand this idea, reality begins to look less like a fixed stage and more like a dynamic field of potential. Each act of observation is a creative moment, a collapse of infinite possibility into a single experienced world. The quantum physicist John Wheeler once proposed a startling notion. No phenomenon is a real phenomenon until it is an observed phenomenon. This doesn't mean that physical matter vanishes when no one's looking, but it does suggest that reality, at its deepest level, is relational. Things exist through interaction, not isolation. Imagine walking into a dark room. For a moment, everything is undefined, a blur of shadows and potential shapes. When you turn on the light, the room becomes real to you. Objects take form, colors emerge, distances become meaningful. In a sense, this is what observation does to the universe. Consciousness is the light that gives form to the otherwise indeterminate. This perspective has profound implications. It suggests that consciousness is not a passive witness but an active participant in the unfolding of the cosmos. Each perception, each thought, each act of attention is a brushstroke on the canvas of reality. The observer's paradox invites us to rethink the boundary between self and world, between mind and matter. Perhaps, in the deepest sense, the universe doesn't exist until you look. And when you do, it looks right back. Every second of our lives, our minds construct a world that feels external, stable, and self-evident. Yet, what we perceive is not the world as it is, but a personalized simulation shaped by our senses, memories, and expectations. We are not passive witnesses to reality. We are its architects. The mind doesn't simply record what's out there. It edits, colors, and interprets, creating a version of reality that fits our story. This chapter explores how consciousness acts as a reality-making machine, how our thoughts, emotions, and perceptions weave together to create the illusion of an objective world. Consider vision. It feels instantaneous and effortless. You open your eyes, and the world appears. But neuroscience tells a more complex story. The brain doesn't simply receive images from the eyes, it constructs them. Every moment, your brain interprets electrical signals, fills in blind spots, guesses at missing details, and corrects distortions. The colors you see don't exist in the outside world. They're interpretations of wavelengths. The smooth motion you perceive is a mental reconstruction, built from discrete visual frames that the brain stitches together. What you see, in essence, is not out there. It's an inner model created by your mind. This creative process extends beyond the senses. The mind interprets not only what we see, but what we feel and believe. Two people can experience the same event and walk away with entirely different realities. One sees an insult, another sees a challenge. One hears criticism, another hears guidance. These differences are not merely emotional reactions. They are differences in the fabric of experienced reality. The mind's interpretations become the world we live in. Psychologists have shown how powerful this construction process is. The placebo effect demonstrates how the mere belief in healing can trigger physiological change, the body's chemistry responding to an expectation. Conversely, the nocebo effect shows how negative belief can make us sick. Thoughts, beliefs, and narratives literally sculpt the body and brain. What we think, we become, not metaphorically but biologically. The mind rewires neural pathways, strengthens or weakens synapses, and reshapes perception in accordance with its expectations. Modern neuroscience calls this predictive processing. The brain is not a camera recording reality. It is a prediction engine. It constantly guesses what's going to happen next based on past experiences, then updates those predictions when reality doesn't match. You don't see the world as it is, you see it as you expect it to be. This is why optical illusions work. The mind imposes familiar patterns even when the data contradicts them. It's also why two people can look at the same situation and see completely different meanings. Each of us inhabits a world projected from within. Culture and language add another layer to this constructed reality. The words we use shape what we can perceive. Some languages have dozens of words for snow or love, each carrying subtle shades of meaning. Speakers of those languages literally see the world differently. Their brains tuned to notice distinctions others overlook. Our social systems, too, define what is real. Money, nationality, gender roles, all of these exist because minds collectively agree they do. When enough people stop believing in them, they dissolve. The mind creates not only individual worlds but shared realities sustained by collective imagination. This idea can be unsettling. If reality is subjective, is there any truth at all? The answer lies in understanding that our perceptions, while limited, are still functional. They help us navigate, survive, and connect. But the moment we confuse our inner models with objective truth, we fall into delusion. The key is awareness, the ability to see the mind's creative process as it unfolds. When we recognize that thoughts are not facts, that emotions are not absolute truths, we gain freedom. We stop living inside the simulation and start shaping it consciously. The mind as a reality machine is both a warning and an invitation. It warns us that what we take for granted, the world, ourselves, others, is filtered through layers of interpretation. But it also invites us to participate more intentionally in creation. If perception is power, then attention is the tool that wields it. What you focus on expands, what you ignore fades. In every moment, you are editing the universe you live in. In this light, reality becomes less about discovering something fixed and more about cultivating something fluid. The mind doesn't just observe. It paints, edits, and narrates. Every thought is a brushstroke, every belief a lens. The question is not merely, what is real? But what reality am I choosing to create right now? If reality comes into being through observation, then a profound question emerges. Who or what is doing the observing? The notion that the universe depends on consciousness to exist suggests a strange reciprocity, that while we look out at the universe in some way looks back. This idea blurs the boundaries between the observer and the observed, between mind and matter, and invites us to consider consciousness not as an isolated human phenomenon but as a fundamental aspect of the cosmos itself. From a scientific standpoint, this notion finds its roots in quantum mechanics. The double-slit experiment and its descendants show that particles behave differently when they are measured, as though the universe responds to being noticed. The wave function, that elegant mathematical description of potential, collapses into a definite reality through the act of observation. In simple terms, before the observation, there is only possibility. After it, there is fact. But the deeper mystery is this: what counts as an observer? Does it have to be a human mind? Or could any form of information exchange, any interaction that records an outcome, qualify as observation? Physicists debate this, yet the mystery persists. Somewhere between potential and perception, the universe becomes aware of itself. Philosophers have wrestled with this paradox for centuries. Idealists like George Berkeley claimed that to be is to be perceived. Eastern traditions, too, echo this sentiment. In Vedanta, consciousness is seen as the underlying reality, and the material world as its projection, Maya, an illusion that consciousness dreams into being. The Buddhist notion of dependent origination suggests that nothing exists independently. Everything arises through relationship. These ancient insights resonate eerily with modern physics, as though science is circling back to truths long intuited by mystics. Reality is not a static thing but a dynamic event of awareness. Let's take a moment to imagine the universe not as a collection of inert matter but as a living field of experience. Every particle, every atom, every vibration participates in an ongoing dialogue of observation and response. When you gaze at the stars, photons that have traveled millions of years enter your eyes and excite your neurons, collapsing their ancient journey into a present moment of awareness. In that instant, you and the cosmos are not separate. You are completing a circuit, consciousness recognizing itself in form. The universe does not merely exist for you to see. It becomes something because you see it. Neuroscience provides an intriguing parallel at the micro level. The act of observation in the brain is recursive. It observes itself observing. When you reflect on your own awareness, you create a feedback loop of consciousness becoming aware of itself, much like the universe mirrored in your mind. This self-referential nature of consciousness hints at why awareness feels infinite. It has no external boundary. The observer is never outside reality. The observer is reality experiencing itself from within. Such ideas may sound poetic, but they carry profound implications. If consciousness is the ground of being, then everything, galaxies, atoms, thoughts, emotions, arises within it. Matter and energy become patterns of awareness, not the other way around. The universe, in this view, is not a cold mechanism but a vast, unfolding intelligence. Life, then, is not an accident of chemistry but an expression of the universe waking up to its own existence. In you, in every act of perception, the cosmos gains eyes to see itself. This perspective reframes our place in the grand scheme of things. We are not small, insignificant observers lost in an indifferent universe. We are co-creators within it. Every moment of consciousness, every spark of curiosity or awe, is the universe reaching toward deeper self-understanding. When you contemplate the stars, the same awareness that burns in the heart of those stars stirs within you. The separation between you and it dissolves. What looks out through your eyes is not just a person. It is the cosmos conscious of itself for a fleeting moment in time. In this sense, reality doesn't exist until you look is not merely about the power of perception. It is about participation. To look is to join the dance of creation. To observe is to awaken the world. And in that sacred exchange, between the seer and the seen, between mind and matter, lies the deepest truth. The universe is not a distant stage on which we act, but a living mirror reflecting our own awareness. When you look closely enough, you realize the astonishing symmetry, that while you have been trying to understand the universe has been looking back at you all along.